Welcome, everybody, to Blockbuster Mentality, the show where we dive deep into the world of cinema. I'm your host, Ben Secord. Today, Dave and I dive into a comedy classic, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, directed by John Hughes, starring John Candy and Steve Martin. The IMDb synopsis for the film reads, "A man must struggle to travel home for Thanksgiving with an obnoxious slob of a shower curtain ring salesman as his only companion." It's Turkey Day, this is a Thanksgiving movie, and we're gonna talk about planes, trains, automobiles. So sit back, relax, let's talk some movies. All right, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, 1987. Dave, how many times have you seen this movie?
I'd say this is maybe my third or fourth full viewing. This is one I came late to.
Same here. Yeah, I honestly think this was the second time I've seen it all the way through.
It's hard to find a good Thanksgiving movie, and I think this is actually how I came to it. Was just in search of one.
Really?
And I think it was maybe a bad football game one year, and I was just flipping around on the guide.
That's usually what does it for me.
Yeah,
Yep.
and I saw, okay, here comes whatever, and I saw Steve Martin and John Candy, whom I love.
Yeah.
And I just put it on, and I couldn't believe how funny this movie was.
I know.
Even though it's, 30 years old now.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it is 30 years old. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, you can't find a good Thanksgiving movie, but yeah, John Candy, Steve Martin.
Directed by John Hughes.
John Hughes, which, I mean, do you like him? Do you not like him?
He's got some good stuff. I feel like there's like a legend behind the name, and maybe, unfortunately, because he passed, he made some good movies in the 80s, and
yeah,
that's all I'll say.
Okay.
I don't think he's a great director.
Yeah.
I think this is probably his best one.
I mean, I would agree with you there. I think I like him a little more than you did, just from talking to you before the show and stuff.
As a director, but as a writer, he's written some great stuff.
He's got an eye for comedy and an eye for some reason, the coming of age type tales. He's got an eye for that,
and an eye for John Candy.
Yes, he does. Yeah, he's been in quite a few of his movies. Uncle Buck. Vacation,
Hall as well, I guess.
Home Alone, he had a small role in.
Molly Ringwald, what's the call on that?
I mean, I liked her in Breakfast. Honestly, I don't think. I think I saw Breakfast Club. I never saw Pretty in Pink.
I think I saw parts of it.
I'd never seen 16 Candles.
Parts of that as well. I think it's maybe the same movie as Breakfast Club.
Yeah, that's okay. So, I really like Breakfast Club. I think it's a great movie. What is Planes, Trains, Automobiles your favorite John Hughes movie?
Definitely.
Okay.
I like Uncle Buck, but I like this one much better.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I like this way better than Uncle Buck. I would say probably Ferris Bueller's Day Off is my favorite John Hughes movie, just because. I watched that more and I grew up with it. And whereas Planes, Trains, Automobiles, like I said, this is my second full viewing, and I've seen bits and pieces here and there besides those two viewings. This is my second full viewing, and I've only seen it in my adult life, so I do have to give the edge to Ferris Bueller's Day Off. But yeah, I don't know what took me so long to get to this movie. It's brilliant. I love John Candy. I'm a big Steve Martin guy too. Which Steve Martin's more reserved in this role. So, I mean, this isn't my favorite role of Steve Martin's, but John Candy just steals the show for sure.
I think Steve Martin's a good actor. I don't find him particularly hilarious.
Okay.
Other than, there's some moments where he's funny. I don't know.
Father of the Bride Part 2.
Yeah, well,
that's his movie right
classic.
there. That's classic Steve Martin right there.
I love John Candy, though.
Yes.
I cannot get enough of this man.
He's so charming.
He's amazing, right? You just want to jump on him and give him a hug, right? Or you just whatever he's like selling, you want to buy. And it's rare to find that actor, that man, that person, this woman or whatever, that is just, you are so drawn to them.
Right.
You feel everything that's going on in this guy somehow. He portrays it all. He's funny, he's nice, he's sad, he's hurt. You're like, and you'd like feel that whole range with him.
Absolutely.
It's just that rare connection.
Even when he's annoying, you're just like, you can't fault him. He's all right. Like you said, buying what he's selling. He's a shower curtain ring salesman in this movie, and I'm like, okay, I'll buy that. Yes, please.
Even if you know he's taking you for a ride, you still want to like participate.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you feel bad for him or something.
Oh man, yeah. It's just he's just such a I don't know. It's raining. Okay, I was like, what is that noise? It is raining here in Tampa, Florida, folks. But yeah, John Candy, love him, and I love Steve Martin. But yeah, this is definitely John Candy's movie. So let's just jump into the movie.
Let's do it.
As we always do, we give our pick six.
Yeah,
I have to say it like that every time now. Pick six. Hey, ooh. So we give our 6 favorite moments of the movie.
And we get the introduction to these 2 characters.
Yes.
Who is Neil, played by Steve Martin, and Del.
Del, yep. John Candy
John
is
Candy.
Del. This is, our
guys
first moment.
They could not be more different, right?
Not at all, yeah. First of all, yeah. So, yeah, it opens with Steve Martin in this, like, boring-ass meeting about marketing, and the guy's just, like, looking over something. Their boss is, like, looking over something in a conference room. So you get the idea of the kind of work Steve Martin's in, and it's just interesting way to start the film, I'd say.
Yeah, he's in New York. He's got a ticket to Chicago, and it's like, I guess this would be, is it the Wednesday? No, it's Tuesday, right?
Yeah, I would say it's a Tuesday because, I mean,
it's 2 days before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Tuesdays before Thanksgiving, yep.
And he's trying to catch a 6 o'clock flight to Chicago.
Yep.
And, they're just sitting there, and the boss is just taking his sweet time. They're in advertising. He's
right,
at a board of whatever. And
it looks like the boss is going to say something at one point. He's like, and then just continues to look at it. It's like, what's going on?
And it's basically all that for nothing.
Yep, all of it for nothing. Did you notice Ferris Bueller's dad
was
the other guy? Yeah.
So he's like, he's got to catch a cab. And, of course, it's rush hour. And here we see Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, Kevin Bacon. Just out of nowhere. Has no lines.
No, he just does a little hot shot, like, twerp or whatever. Like,
right,
they're fighting over a cab. This is your classic, like, 1980s, the cheesy music.
Yep.
They're, like, running on opposite side of the streets trying to chase this one cab. It's like
so 80s, yeah.
It's like the most 80s part of this movie.
And he trips over a trunk at one point, which they definitely focus on that trunk. Which obviously we learn is John Candy's trunk, because do they meet on the plane, or do they? I forget.
They meet in the airport.
Oh yeah, they meet in the airport.
So while Steve Martin is fighting over the cab, John Candy just loads up his stuff and they take off. But he knows him because he remembers that trunk because he tripped over
exactly.
it. They meet later in the airport and they're just sort of sitting there, and John Candy's got some like erotic novel.
Yeah.
It's like Mounted in Canada or something like that. Or Canadian Mounted or something like that.
Yep.
And Steve Martin's reading like, I don't know, probably the business section out of like the Wall Street Journal.
Of course,
or something.
yes.
And then somehow their eyes meet and they're talking and they realize who they are.
Yeah.
It's like, you took my cab. It's like, John Candy in his amazing way, he's like, "Oh gosh, I'm sorry. Can I get you a beer and a hot dog?" And he just goes on. He's like, "How about just a hot dog, or how about a coffee? How about some tea?" He's like, "How about a glass of milk?"
He insists that he must give him something. Yeah, he's just
on and on and on, just trying to like make it right.
And I'm kind of irritated at Steve Martin for being so like, it's like, man, how can you not just take it for this guy? Because like, come on, just take what he's offering. Yeah, he said he's sorry. Just get over it. Stop being tight. Remove head
from the ass.
From ass.
This is take your head out of your ass.
Yeah, it's a take your head out of your ass moment, and that's definitely a theme of this film, I'd say.
And from this moment on, Steve Martin cannot shake John Candy.
No, he cannot. They get on the plane, and who do you know? Who is he sitting next to? Because he's fighting over the clerk about they're not being. He wanted first class, but he had to get bumped. His flight got bumped, so now he's in coach. And who is he next to other than John Candy?
And that's his thing. He's taking off his shoes. All my dogs are barking.
Oh my god, that scene! I was, oh my god, I was dying. My stomach hurt after that scene. Like he's like chewing gum. He's just like, Because this is after Steve Martin's like, I don't really want to talk. Let's just, can we just fly? And then he just still just goes. He doesn't know when to shut up.
Zero self-awareness.
Exactly.
Like, at all.
Like Michael Scott. Yeah. Zero self-awareness. But he's more lovable than like Michael Scott, which I love Michael Scott. He's hilarious.
Yeah, John Candy is irresistible.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, the flight gets basically, there's a lot of snow in Chicago, so the flight gets, they have to land in Wichita, Kansas.
Right, which is far out of the way.
Very far out of the way. This basically brings us to our number 2.
Yeah, so Steve Martin calls his wife, and he's like, where are you? You on your way? He's like, no, I'm in Wichita. And I will say, the wife is not very understanding of his plight. And then,
because she like doesn't believe him, or she's like, yeah.
Maybe it could be that what we don't know is that he has failed them many times.
Right, yeah.
And daddy didn't come home, or something like that. But,
where are you, daddy?
I think maybe that's it. And maybe he's screwed them over so much that they're just jaded.
Yeah, we don't really get much exposition or anything in regards to...
But she's not even understanding at all.
No, not
and
at all.
And as the audience, you're like, well, what the hell? I mean,
he couldn't control it. It's not his fault.
He fought over a cab. He got his briefcase run over. He's dealing with this John Candy character who's the most ridiculous thing you've ever seen. Now they're being diverted. Oh, they were delayed at first, and then they were diverted.
Right.
He's like, well, what do you want me to do?
Right.
I'm not here.
Didn't choose to come to Kansas right now.
Yeah, so there's this massive snowstorm going on. And then Dell, helpful Dell, tells him, he's like, you're not going to be able to get out of here overnight. Let's just find a hotel. I got a guy. Or it's nearby, which it isn't. It's always something else with Dell, right?
Yeah, you pay for the cab. I'll get you a room in the hotel. I know the guy. Yeah, exactly. I sell him shower curtain rings. Good God!
But it's like 30 minutes out of town.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. They're in this cab with another cameo of a guy who's like a character actor in a lot of things.
Yeah, he played the Kramer actor.
Oh yeah,
Seinfeld,
exactly.
Who was going to play Kramer?
He's also Carl in Billy Madison.
Oh yeah, Carl.
Mr. Heckles and Friends. He's been in a lot. It's just funny to see him. I don't think he had any lines either.
He's in the strangest cab you've ever seen.
Yeah, it's got like naked girls on the
hot rod
ceiling
with all these lights. It's terrible.
Yeah.
So they're in this hotel and there's only one room and one bed.
Oh yeah, there was just one bed. Yeah. And this is the next moment in our take 6 is their first night in a hotel together.
Well, I like when they first walk in and it's very awkward because they realize that they've got just one bed.
Yep.
And it's like, what do you do? And someone who says I think John Candy said, hey, you want to go take a shower? And Steve Martin's like, no. And then it's like, well, no, I didn't mean it that way.
Didn't mean it that way.
But the idea is you get the other person to take a shower, then you take the bed.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But obviously, when Steve Martin does get in the shower, you see that John Candy's already been in there. You got socks everywhere, wet clothes, just things everywhere. But yeah, he's taking the shower, and he even sees the shower curtain rings in the bathroom, and you obviously know that was from John Candy. But
gets into the bed. There's spilled beer.
Yeah, he's like, I'm so sorry about that. I'm so sorry.
It's a vibrating bed. You turn on the... I mean, do they even make those anymore?
I don't know. Yeah, that's just so weird.
It's an odd thing.
So weird. Yeah, John Candy, he even turns it on while he's smoking a cigarette and just treating it like it's a massage chair or something. Like, what are you doing? Like, how is that enjoyable? Putting a quarter in the bed. But yeah, they get in bed. They get in bed together, and it's like me and my wife were talking about this. Like, why wouldn't one put one head on one side and the other on one side? Like, why are they sleeping like that?
According to Seinfeld, the genitals are still lined up.
Oh yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, very good, so Elaine and Jerry.
Yeah.
Okay. So Seinfeld is life.
It is. Well, and then John Candy decides this is a good time to start clearing out my sinuses. It's like,
oh my God. So
making all
gross.
these crazy noises. And then he does it. Like this is a recurring thing with this movie. the gags go on.
Yes.
They're not
keep
short
going.
gags, but for some reason they don't get old, even though like they draw them out.
Another stomach hurting moment was this scene with he just keeps going. It's like, dude, what are you doing?
And then he ends it with shaving a haircut. It was like, and he's like, and then at that point, Steve Martin has had enough.
He's donezo.
Go ahead.
Which is, it's hilarious and everything, but then you get more of a serious moment.
Yeah.
Which I can't take it seriously just because Family Guy parodied this scene with the, you want to hurt me? Okay, you can hurt me. And Peter Griffin says it line for line the exact same way.
I never saw that.
I like me. Like it's just like I can't. But
so it ruined it.
In a way, yes, but no, I do see I like this scene just because it brings things. It kind of gives you an idea of who John Candy is. It kind of puts things in perspective. It's like, okay, this is a person.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he's annoying, but is treating him bad gonna change him? It's not gonna change him, or is treating him bad gonna do anything really?
Yeah, Steve Martin just lays into him,
especially because John Candy is being annoying, but everything he's doing is like so like. I don't want to say lighthearted or
he's
unintentional.
Innocent, right?
Innocent, thank you. Yes, that's the word I was looking for.
He's not meaning harm.
Right,
although
exactly.
he's causing it just by being so socially like stupid.
Right. No self-awareness again.
Yeah, Steve Martin is so mean.
Right.
And he basically says, "You are the worst person I've ever met."
Right.
Or you are the worst experience
right.
I've ever. He goes through like, I can sit through an insurance conference for 3 days. And heck, that's not Del Griffin.
Yeah.
So you imagine the most boring,
yeah,
obnoxious, just thing you don't want to do.
Yeah.
And that's nothing compared to hanging out with this guy.
Right. And it's just like when you really think about it, like you go back. Now I'm kind of realizing why they had that scene at the beginning. Like look at these people he's with in that meeting at the beginning, like his boss. Like that seems like a real crappy guy to be around.
Yeah.
Real.
Oh yeah.
Not
boring.
Fun. Yeah, boring.
Awful,
just
doing what you got to do.
Yeah.
And I'll take anything over hanging out with this guy.
Yeah, exactly. And this scene it means even more, more you watch it just because you find out at the end, what John Candy went through and what the reveal he had. But yeah, what do you think of this scene?
Well, I just like it because I think this performance by both of these actors, this hooks you in for the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Because you can relate to Steve Martin, even though he's kind of going too far.
Yeah.
But you're also like, dude, who is this guy?
Right,
He's
exactly.
insane. But then John Candy just punches back just as strong.
Right.
And he's like, hey, this is who I am, and I'm okay with myself. And you're like, oh, now I'm siding with this guy.
Right, yeah. Yeah, because you were like, okay, totally justifiable that Steve Martin is having this reaction right now. I totally get it.
Because I'm laughing at everything he says.
Right, yeah. And then John Candy just like says it, what's going on? Like, okay.
You went too far, man.
Yeah.
And you
hurt my feelings.
Yeah, you're like,
it's really what it is.
You're digging at like the core of me,
right.
And that's not right. That's not fair.
You're trying to change who I am,
Yeah. So I think this is almost maybe the most pivotal scene in the whole movie because you're cracking up, but then you get this heart and this real seriousness here. So this is a big deal.
Yeah, definitely. So yes, then Steve Martin kind of feels bad about what he said, so he gets back in bed with.
He's got a conscience.
Gets back in bed with the missus.
And then they wake up cuddling.
Yes, that's another scene where I knew about this scene before I had seen the movie. Obviously, this is definitely a famous scene.
Steve Martin is the little spoon.
Yep, the little spoon. He's like, "Why were you kissing my ear?" I don't know.
Why were you holding my hand? And then they get up.
Where's your other hand? In between two pillows. Those aren't pillows. So brilliant.
They start talking about the Bears. Oh, the Bears. Yeah, they're going to have a great season. Sports. Poor men.
Yeah, I love that scene. All right, so then our number 3 moment is... when Steve Martin curses out the rental car clerk. So a lot of stuff has happened from the bed, our number 2 to our number 3.
Well, we've done the plane. And I guess we're kind of skipping over the train.
Yeah, I mean, is there anything about the train you want to mention? I mean,
No, they're
so
really not
basi-
great scenes, but they've got a.
So they go from the hotel to the train station, right?
That's
Yeah.
for some reason they think we're not going to be able to get a flight out of Kansas,
Right.
So it's faster or better or who knows what, just cheaper. I don't know what. We'll just take a train and then we'll take a train to St. Louis and then we can get a flight out of St. Louis. Better chances.
Yeah,
there.
something like that. Yeah.
Okay, so they're having a breakfast. This is where Steve Martin's trying to make a clean break,
Yep.
right?
Oh yeah, the
Because
breakfast.
they got robbed. Remember all that whole fiasco?
Uh huh.
And he's like, we're just not. Whatever this isn't working, so I'm just going to go my way, you go your way.
Right.
Then he goes to the airport to get a rental car, and he gets dropped off by a bus.
Well, this is because the train broke down, and
Right,
then they get
that's
to
right,
the
yeah, that's
yeah.
right. And he's in a big parking lot, and he goes, he's some like letter and number on the key. He goes to that spot, and it's empty.
Yep.
And then the bus that got him here is gone.
Bye bye.
And what do you do?
Yeah.
He just got drove out like a mile or something.
Yeah, exactly. He's like going through like snow and stuff. He's going down hills to try to get back
like,
to.
Hey! He's like screaming, trying
Yeah.
to get the guy back. Yeah, this is. And then he finally makes it back. It must have taken him a while, right?
Yeah.
An hour maybe?
Oh,
or
absolutely. Yeah.
something?
Yeah. He's. I don't know. I don't know if he has like cuts on his face. I forget. But
He's beat up.
Yeah, he's definitely beat up.
It
And
gets to
he
the-
has had it. He's gone through all the stuff with John Candy. Including like the stuff with John Candy. Then to go through this, it's just like this is one hell
He's
of a
like
weekend.
up to here, right?
Yeah.
And you. Then he gets to the desk. And the lady, and now I don't know her name. She is.
Yeah, she's been in a lot of things.
She's
She
a
was
famous character
Yeah,
actress.
definitely.
From, everything from the mid '80s to at least the last.
Yeah, she was in Ferris Bueller.
This actress, was she She sounds like she would be a Marge or something.
Yeah, she's definitely
got that,
a Marge.
Upper Midwest.
Right? Yeah. Oh yeah. Don't you know? Edie McClurg is her name.
Okay. Well,
There you go.
and then up to the desk, she's like talking. Yeah, tell mom and dad I'll be home. Blah blah blah. Yeah, we're gonna make that.
Yeah.
We're gonna make what is it, ambrosia or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not called ambrosia. but
Yeah,
it's
something I forget what.
whatever they
but-
make. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Steve Martin, he has. This was the absolute topper for him.
Let's play the clip.
He drops. I don't know how many F-bombs. You count
Yeah.
them?
So.
Well, here we
Well,
go.
no, it was 18. 18.
18.
18 of them.
May I help you?
You can start by wiping that fucking dumbass smile off your rosy fucking cheeks. Then you can give me a fucking automobile. A fucking Datsun, a fucking Toyota, a fucking Mustang, a fucking Buick. 4 fucking wheels and a seat.
I really don't care for the way you're speaking to me.
And I really don't care for the way your company left me in the middle of fucking nowhere with fucking keys to a fucking car that isn't fucking there. And I really didn't care to fucking walk down a fucking highway and across a fucking runway to get back here to have you smile at my fucking face. I want a fucking car right fucking.
Is that it? Or was
May
there
I
more?
see your rental agreement?
I threw it away.
Boy,
Oh boy, what?
you're fussed.
Oh my God!
That
such a-
encapsulates the movie, right?
Yeah, it really does. It's just like what he's been going through. You understand? Like it's just like, yeah, I get why this guy's doing this right now.
He's done. He's
yeah,
beyond done.
He is beyond done. He's trying to. He thought he had a flight to Chicago. He was Well, and that's another reason why we go back to that meeting. He was worried about that that meeting ending fast. That was the worst part of this whole week. Was going to be this meeting that
Yeah.
needed to end before my flight.
It's funny too because when he talks to Ferris Bueller's dad,
Ferris Bueller's dad.
he booked that guy, which they both live in Chicago, I guess. 'Cause he's like, I'll see you.
Yeah, I
there.
would assume so. Yeah.
Maybe they have like a corporate headquarters in New York or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. But anyways, that guy had booked the 8:00 flight, And there was a whole debate about that. And Steve Martin booked the 6 o'clock.
Right.
You know, if he had booked the 8,
Right.
maybe he would have been fine.
Smooth sailing. Smooth sailing, man. But yeah, that scene
this
is just brilliant.
Hilarious.
And that scene is why this movie was rated R. Right there. That's that scene alone, which makes sense. Yeah, because I mean, there's nothing else in this movie that would constitute an R rating.
No, not at all. It's just, there's a million, how many? 18 F-bombs here?
Yeah, 18 F-bombs in like less than 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Which is
It's quite the accomplishment.
and each one is necessary, I feel. I feel that each one was
Oh, yeah. I mean, if
needed.
if it was 16, it wouldn't have
Yeah,
been.
16. It wouldn't have been as
Or
effective.
17 or 19.
Yeah,
no,
which
maybe 18.
19 if you include hers. You know,
There you go. Which was a good delivery.
yeah,
'Cause he-
definitely,
yeah.
yeah. Especially like because she's always like this chipper character, like, oh yeah,
don't you know,
don't you know? But yeah, then that brings us to basically John Candy got a car somehow, and he picks up Steve Martin.
a
Somehow
nice guy.
they end up together again. So then that brings us to our number 4 in our pick 6.
Yeah. Which is there's this whole long scene really of them in the car, but it starts with John Candy. Well, actually, God, this is hilarious for a long time. Steve Martin's driving. John Candy's in the passenger seat playing with the power seat.
Yep,
Back and
forth.
Up, and it's like
It's like, oh man, once you change it, you can't get comfortable again.
Steve Martin's talking to him like a child, right? You
Yep.
know, just stop playing with it. You're gonna break it, which he does.
Yep, of course. And then Steve Martin has to sit in it because
Right.
it's broken.
It goes crazy, right? And
Please stop doing that with the seat.
Once you start screwing around with these damn things, you can never get comfortable. Screwing around with it. I gotta get comfortable.
I gotta get comfortable.
And then
So
they switch
great.
off. John Candy's driving, and then there's like messing around by Ray
Yeah,
Charles.
because you like you said he threw the cigarette. Oh no, yeah, messing around. Yep.
He's performing all the band.
Yeah,
He's driving.
keyboard and Family Guy did this as well.
Really?
Yes,
Like John Candy is like the world's worst driver.
yes, he
As
is.
he's doing it, he's veering like way off the road, not just like out of the lane.
Not doing the mess around.
He's doing the saxophone, he's doing the pianos, he's
All while
singing.
holding a cigarette.
Yeah, and then he eventually lets it go, which flies back into the car.
Yeah, plus
And he gets, off the road, and then at some point, they're driving the wrong way. Yeah, because he goes off the exit, goes back the way through the way he came, which is the wrong way. There's another couple in a car driving the right way, trying to be like, "Hey,
yeah.
you're going the wrong way." And John Candy's like, "They're drunk." He's like, "Oh yeah, what do you mean?" He's like, "Oh." Then Steve Martin eventually wakes up and is like, "How do you guys know where we're going?
Yeah.
You're going the wrong way. They don't know where we're going,
Right,
so who are they
exactly.
to say we're going?
How do you guys know?
Oh my god!
Did you mention him trying to take off his coat? Did you mention that?
Oh no, that's right. Yeah, everything gets hooked, and this is classic.
On the both. He's trying to get his arms out.
Of course, the simplest thing would just be to hit the brake.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, why didn't you stop? It's an empty highway. Like, what difference does it make if you
No,
stop?
let's just keep going at 80 miles an hour where they can't steer.
Oh, they go through the two 18-wheelers, and then they stop, and like
As they're
Steve
going,
Martin's
though,
hands are in the dashboard, and
you see like they're skeletons, and then they're like their life is flashing before their eyes. They're skeletons, and then John Candy's wearing like a devil's suit, like
oh, it's great. And then naturally, they get out of the car to see the damage after they go through the two semi-trucks, and obviously, there's some damage to the side of the vehicle. Nothing too terrible. But yeah, then the car catches on fire.
Yeah, the cigarette. They're sitting on John Candy's trunk. They sort of see this light. I think Steve Martin looks back and just comes back forward.
Yeah, basically, and
forward.
then
John Candy looks back to facing forward, and then they realize, oh God, the car's on fire.
Oh, what are you gonna do? So brilliant. And then John Candy's just trying to laugh it off, and oh, we're gonna laugh about this one day. But that kind of brings us to our next one, number 5. They find the hotel. And it's another. There's so many like actors that I've seen in other movies. It's the guy from Jurassic Park, the lawyer or whatever from Jurassic Park is the hotel clerk. I think this is the only other movie I've seen him in. Yeah, the blood-sucking lawyer.
And
exactly.
if you love Jurassic Park, please listen to our episode.
Yeah, back when we used to do 2-hour episodes.
I told Ben that was too long.
Yes, and now we try to keep it under an hour. You're welcome, folks. Hey, YouTube, subscribe.
Not even subscribe. Just watch us all day long.
And if net neutrality, is done, then, whatever. It was a fun run.
Hey, nice knowing you.
So yeah, they book the hotel, and Steve Martin's able to book it because he has a watch. That's basically why he has $17 and a nice watch, and then John Candy has like $2 and like
Casio,
a Casio, right? A Casio watch.
Casio.
Did you see that? Casio. So yeah, Steve Martin's able to get the room, but John Candy sadly is not. So John Candy's sitting in the car because they were able to drive the car, but it's burnt to a crisp
And melting.
It's melting. They were even pulled over by Michael McKean.
Which is
another actor. Jeez, there's so many actors in this movie.
This is one of the funniest scenes to me.
What, when they get pulled over?
Oh God, this is hilarious to me. At least for me, I mean, I crack up because they're going along, and they're going. He gets clocked. They get clocked 78.
Right.
And he's like, "Do you know why we pulled you over?" And they're just in this piece of junk.
Yeah.
More than. And Michael McKean's like, "Do you believe this vehicle is safe for the road?" And John Candy's like, "Yes, I do."
Yes, I do. I mean, the speedometer's broken, but yet, yes.
It was like, well, the radio actually does work.
Yeah.
I found that just John Candy's response is just, he's so earnest. And obviously he's putting it on, I love that.
Yeah, I love it too. Then that's actually after the hotel scene, I believe.
Yeah.
But yeah, John Candy's sitting out there in the freezing cold, and Steve Martin, looks out the window, sees doing that. He's like, he feels bad, obviously.
It's like a dog outside.
Exactly. He invites him in because he's going to freeze to death because Steve Martin, he's a good guy. Deep down, he's a good guy, I'd say.
He does have heart.
He does have heart.
They're just from two different places in the world.
Exactly. Two different places is right. But yeah, then I picked this, for our pick six just because it's just a nice moment. This is when you get their friendship starting a little bit. They're kind of understanding each other. They're drinking together, and I think it's mainly because Steve Martin is able to loosen up a little bit here. He's drinking.
He's got no fight left in him. Right?
Exactly.
All of Steve Martin's who I am. I'm this corporate guy has just been completely stripped off.
Right.
And he's just the man. Whoever he was before that, right?
Right.
It's just his regular personality. He doesn't have this
it's been 2 days of hell at this point.
It's all removed.
Right.
He's the veneer of being a corporate guy that flies between New York and Chicago and all this stuff. And maybe, that's what we see, at the end of the film is he's more true to himself.
Yeah.
And he can connect to another human being.
Almost like what we talked about with Big, like the corporate people are just, it's just like we're all just trying to just make money. I mean, that's all we're trying to do. We're just, we put on this serious face, but it's really just like once that's all stripped down, like we're just normal people that just want to have a good time. And,
he's got this persona that he's built over and it all just because through embarrassment and circumstance and just dealing, he becomes sort of a not a poor person, but just someone in trouble.
Right.
Whereas he's really hasn't had to deal with that kind of, well, what am I going to do tomorrow?
Right.
That kind of a thought.
Exactly.
Which we learn about Del, which he's dealing with tomorrow all the time.
Yeah, those are really good points there. But yeah, I mean, that basically brings us to our number 6, which is basically the ending. So yeah, basically they finally get home. They get brought to the train station or the L train in downtown Chicago.
They're finally in Chicago.
Finally in Chicago. They get brought there, but in the back of a freezer truck.
Yeah. And then they sort of say their goodbyes.
Yeah.
And Steve Martin's on his way out, and Del just kind of hangs there for a minute. And they sort of said, I'll see you around, but not meaning it.
Yeah.
Steve Martin gets back on the train. He's heading home. And he thinks back,
right,
to what all the stuff that's been said over the time, and he kind of figures out John Candy doesn't have anywhere to go.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, because he's thinking back because he gets on the train after they say goodbye. He's leaving. And he's like, I can't leave this guy. I can't leave him. I know
Yeah.
he's not going anywhere. So he goes back, takes the train back, and he sees John Candy waiting there.
Well, because we find out that John Candy's. We know that he brings a picture of his wife.
Yeah.
With him, he talks about her. I forget her name, Marie or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And then I think it's here where we realize that she's. Well, John Candy reveals, but we kind of figure out something's just weird here.
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
And then we go back to that breakfast scene that we talked about where John Candy's like, I haven't been home in years.
Yeah, because John Candy's like talking to her when he's sitting out in that crisp car. He has like a picture of her
Yeah,
wherever
he's always
he
got a
goes,
picture
like
of
a
her.
framed picture.
Steve Martin's always calling his wife. John Candy never calls her.
Right, yeah. We don't get anything.
No voice,
Yeah,
nothing.
exactly. And then that gets us to what John Candy basically tells him, because this whole time I when I first saw it, I was leaning towards that they were divorced and he's just upset about it, but he brings up to Steve Martin that his wife has been dead for 8 years.
Yeah.
8 years been dead.
And I guess he just, maybe if they had a house or a rental, I don't know, but he doesn't have a home.
Right, doesn't have a home,
He's
yeah.
essentially homeless. Mm-hmm. He's a traveling salesman without a home.
Right.
And that's really sad.
Right. I mean, where do you think he was? It's very sad, and this almost brings us to our questions. Who's the idiot, me or the movie?
Let's move right in.
Yeah, because where do you think he was going? Do you think he had a destination, or was he just trying to find someone this whole time that just share
It's possible.
life with? Not like in a romantic way, but just to find some sort of connection with someone somewhere. Do you think that's what he was doing, or I mean, because what was his destination from here? Where was he going this whole time?
I don't know. It's hard to say.
Especially since
I mean,
he said he didn't have a home. Like, especially since he's a traveling salesman. Obviously, he travels a lot. Obviously, he's been going from place to place. Where's his home? Is his home even in Chicago?
I got the feeling that he might have been based out of there, and I don't know why I feel that way.
Yeah.
Just maybe because of his nature. He seems like, I think John Candy is originally Canadian.
Yeah.
He's like Midwestern kind
Right.
of person.
Yeah.
But I've got no reason to say that.
Yeah.
He may have just happened upon him because he knew when they were in Kansas, he knew the people there.
Yeah, that's true
so
too.
he's familiar with.
Well, because he
that
knew
area.
them because of his sales and
But
stuff.
why is he in New York? Right?
Yeah, that too.
Right?
Yeah. Is he just going from place to place just because?
He's bouncing around wherever he can sell his
His curtain rings. Yep.
Maybe he's just
You saw his skills when he was selling the rings
Yeah.
and just telling people they were earrings, hip earrings. He made a lot of money with
whatever
that.
they were. He was.
Yeah, he's obviously a good salesman. Maybe he doesn't want a home.
I think his wife.
Yeah, I mean it's
I think his wife's dead, and he whatever that home was is broken.
right.
now, and he can't face it, even though he brings her. He's in denial. I think.
Right, yeah.
Because he can't go. Whatever home was, he obviously can't go. He never. Maybe even if they had a house, I can imagine him just abandoning it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And he just carries that picture. He's living in denial.
Right.
He's got nothing.
Yeah, I mean, because home isn't necessarily having a house. Maybe he was just saying, essentially, he was saying he doesn't have a home, meaning he doesn't have anyone to go home to.
I don't think he has a permanent. I don't think he has an address.
Okay. Okay.
Is what I'll say.
Yeah.
I think he's like.
So again, where was he going? Was he going to Chicago?
I think he's
or was
going-
he trying to find a connection?
No, I don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
where he's going.
Okay.
I think he's just gonna catch the next bus to wherever.
Right.
In my opinion, that's what I think is gonna happen. Whatever the next bus is, the next long haul bus
Right.
going out, that's the bus he's on, and he's gonna sell his stuff.
Okay.
And I think that's the way he's gonna live the rest of his life
Makes sense.
until someone like a Steve Martin
Right.
invites him into his home.
Maybe Steve Martin, maybe other people have gone through this stuff with him and just like can't handle him, where Steve Martin, we give him crap for being such a jerk to this guy, but he eventually came around and saw the I don't want to say the good, because he obviously knows he's good, but just saw the heart in this guy, the innocence in this guy, and just it shows you the kind of person Steve Martin is.
He's got everything.
Yeah.
When you see his house.
Yeah, so I mean, it's cool that this comedy can have this deep, deep questions, these deep meanings, and still kind of just
Yeah, I mean, it's true. I mean, he brings him home.
right. Yeah,
and I feel like he's never gonna leave.
Yeah, I know. It's like, maybe you shouldn't have done that. It almost seems like there could have been a sequel to this.
I know, right? Where he lives in
And
the house.
obviously, have you ever seen Due Date with Zach Galifianakis and Robert Downey Jr.?
Yeah.
Yeah. You could tell that movie got
Oh yeah, now
its
you say it.
influence from this.
that's-
And I saw that before I saw this. Like I said, I saw this for the first time like 2-3 years ago, maybe.
I guess I did too, and
Yeah.
this is like a total ripoff. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Still
it's
funny,
crazy.
though.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Both movies are funny. But yeah, Planes, Trains, Automobiles. Love this movie. Great flick. Gets better the more you watch it.
John Candy.
John Candy is
incredible.
I know.
The guy. I mean, talk about leaving. There's a lot of. I don't know. This is a man who. God, I wish he could have. Stayed on.
I mean, even because he's just more likable and more charming, even I think, than Chris Farley.
Oh, definitely.
This
guy has the
I mean,
magnetism that you just do not see.
Right, and I love Chris Farley, but this guy is just so charming.
He's
You don't
just-
love Chris Farley?
No, I love Chris Farley, but I don't think they're comparable. I
Really?
think
Okay.
John Candy.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just talking.
I guess
fat guys?
I'm no fat guys. Plus, they died young, and
Chris Farley was not the same to me. He's
Yeah.
more.
yeah, because was John
Beverly
Candy's
Hills
drug
Ninja.
related?
I think it was more weight and
Yeah.
heart stuff.
Okay.
As far as I know, I don't think it was.
Because I know
drug stuff.
Chris Farley's was definitely obviously weight, but drug related.
The stories of Chris Farley were. I mean, he would like do as many drugs as he could, and then go perform in front of people.
Yeah.
To get them to laugh,
right.
which was maybe funny at the time.
Yeah,
But
but it's sad.
ruins your body.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
he was someone who. I mean, I think Chris Farley had, a lot of issues. Everyone has
Yeah.
issues, but.
But yeah, it's really sad that John Candy had to leave so early. I mean, he could have, he was going strong when he left too. I mean, I think Cool Runnings maybe it was his last film,
Probably, yeah.
which I love Cool Runnings, which isn't your typical John Candy role.
No,
It's more of a sports movie, and
I think he could have done like real dramatic stuff.
Right? Yeah.
I think he was that good.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, he had that dramatic side to him.
The guy is just so compelling
Yeah,
on screen. And
I
it's
agree.
just that rare quality where, I mean, there's like just a handful of people, and John Candy happens to be one of those people.
Right.
That is just, you see them on screen and you feel like you know everything that's going on inside of them.
How would you rate this movie
I'm
with
gonna
our
give-
new rating system? It's not new anymore. Popcorns and stars. What would you give it?
This is the best rating system ever devised.
I agree.
We
Yeah.
go on stars, which is just pure cinematic quality, and popcorn, which is just
Entertainment quality.
pure entertainment. I think this is a 2.5-star movie and a 4 popcorn movie.
Okay.
4 full buckets of popcorn. Thing is, on this is only a 90-minute film.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
This thing goes by quick. There's not a lot of downtime here. And
I
even the
agree.
gags that go on, they are hilarious.
Yeah.
There's no wasted time at all in this film, I don't think. This is just for establishing characters, and you're laughing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole movie. And then at the end, you get some genuine, to I guess John Hughes' credit, which I knocked, but to his credit, you get some real heart in this movie.
Yeah,
and the
I agree.
performances are great. I don't love Steve Martin, but
In this movie or just
just in general, I don't love him. But I like but don't love.
okay?
I
I
love-
love Steve Martin. I
I-
love Steve Martin. But yeah, this isn't one of my favorite Steve Martin films. That's for sure. Or this isn't my favorite performance of Steve Martin, I should say.
It's still funny.
Yeah.
But this is really a John Candy movie. This movie is a tribute to John Candy.
I totally agree.
What do you got?
I give this film actually 3 stars and 3.5 buckets of popcorn.
We're pretty close.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a good film overall, not just comedy. Because, yeah, like you said, it does bring up that serious moments at the end, but also in the middle where, he brings, with that hotel scene we were talking about earlier, it brings up that, and it brings the human side, and just all in all, just a fun film to watch. Just so enjoyable, and it is lighthearted, and and slapsticky too. It has those slapstick moments, like you
know.
said, with the skeleton and the
God,
and
it's
the and the
hilarious.
devil part. Like it's just like, what are you doing?
It's funny, but it's also that quest to come home.
Yeah,
Which is like, if any of us has a roof over our head, I mean, if there's something to give thanks for,
Right.
it is at minimum that.
yeah.
And
I
John
agree.
Candy didn't have anyone he didn't have a place to go and anyone at all in his life where he could just come together in this one moment and just chill and be safe. And Steve Martin, like you said, he did have a heart. He brought him to his home. He met, here are my parents. Here are my wife's parents. Here are my children. You are welcome here. Come into my house.
After all of everything they went through, and after, Steve Martin basically hated him at many points in the film.
I mean, that's it.
Still, he understood, and again, it shows the heart of Steve Martin's character.
Yeah, I mean, to invite someone into your house and be like, have free reign.
Yeah.
You are welcome. Mm-hmm. That's very intimate.
I agree. I agree.
And that's great that at least, they were able to... the John Candy character was able to give some lighthearted insanity to Steve Martin, and Steve Martin was able to be like, hey, I welcome you. Come, here's what I have I can share with you.
All right, so that is our show, folks. That is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Wonderful film. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out, especially today on Thanksgiving. Definitely a good time to check it out. Dave, anything else you'd like to say today?
I've said everything that I want to
All
say,
right.
other than, listen, watch us, tweet at us.
Follow us on Twitter at BlockbusterCast, our personal accounts at BCCord.
Give us a review.
Give us a review. Give us a rating on iTunes.
Any feedback you guys got.
Subscribe to us on YouTube.
We are going to become more serious on YouTube.
Yeah, more serious on YouTube.
Amazing camera that we're HD. We're beautiful tonight.
Thanks, Dave. Yeah. I agree. But definitely subscribe to us on YouTube. We're going to focus a lot on our YouTube channel from here on out. Support us on Patreon. We got some good benefits on there. And we appreciate all the support you guys have given us.
We love all feedback, honestly.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Those of you who have...
And we like having conversations. Feel free to comment on these videos, and we want to interact with you guys and find out what you guys think about these films as well.
Yeah, and even like I say, even negative stuff is fine. If you're like, Davo, you're way off on this. I would like to know.
say it to him all the time.
Yeah, Ben tells him constantly.
All right, folks, that is it for us, and we will see you next week as we will get into our Star Wars series. Next week, we'll be talking about Empire Strikes Back, so definitely check that one out. I'm excited to do that one.
I have never seen that movie before.
Yeah. Well,
I don't
someday.
think what is it? Empire what?
Strikes
Jedi?
Know.
Well, I'll catch up next week.
Okay, cool. All right, folks, that is it for us. For Davo, I'm Ben Secord, and as always, grab some popcorn, grab some snacks. We'll catch you guys.
At the movies.
Like he said, at the movies.